the American people don't care who owns the financial institution. If the financial institution in this country has problems, it'll have the same impact whether it's U.S. or foreign owned.
But they might wonder what they're getting from the firms in return. So let's say you go into a financial institution, buy up their bad assets. What do the financial institutions have to do? Some Democrats in Congress have said, for example, that they should have to accept limits on their executive compensation. Are you open to that?
Well, let me describe it this way. In instances where institutions fail and the Federal Reserve or the government comes in.
But these haven't failed yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. In instances where they do fail and you come in, obviously, there are limits. That's what we saw with the GSEs. That's what we saw with AIG, okay? Now, what we're doing here is we're trying to do something well in advance of failure. We're trying to offer a program across the whole financial landscape to buy the assets that are clogging up the system so that the markets can work. And I believe to have this program work, we don't want to make it punitive and make it difficult for people.
And let me just play devil's advocate here, but then if you're a taxpayer watching that, you say, okay, these financial executives are going to be freed up to go make millions more, and the taxpayers are taking the risk.
George, I totally agree with the frustration there, because remember, what we're doing right now is first stabilizing the market. That is only part of it. Once we stabilize the market, we need to ask ourselves, how did we get here, and what do we do about it so we don't get here again? I've spent a lot of time, well before this problem, developing a regulatory blueprint, looking at our outdated, outmoded regulatory system that doesn't fit the modern financial world, looking at how policies and practices need to be changed. We need a lot of reforms, and this is going to be something Congress and the next administration is going to be working on for a long time. But these can't be done and shouldn't be done in a matter of days. And we need this program in days in order to protect the American people.
Many in Congress also say that there should be protections for homeowners facing foreclosure in this bill. For example, giving bankruptcy judges the power to adjust the terms of loans. Are you open to including that?
George, we've been focused on homeowners for a long time, working to avoid foreclosure, working with servicers, industry participants, and it sure seems to me that as we buy these mortgage-backed assets, we will have much more leverage in working on the kinds of programs we need to work on. But the key question here is we want to help those homeowners that want to stay in their home and have the financial capability to stay in their home. And the vast majority of foreclosures in this country, as regrettable as they are and as painful as they are coming from people who either don't want to stay in their home and live up to their obligations, or those that never had the financial capability to stay in their home, took out loans they couldn't afford as a result of irresponsible lending practices.
So it sounds like you're saying you don't want any new protections in this bill. You want this plan just to be passed as is, no stimulus plan, no foreclosure protections, no restrictions on compensation for executives?
What I'm saying is we need this to be clean and quick, and we need to get it in place. But I believe this plan should be able to allow us to do more to help prevent preventable foreclosures, and I will work to that.
But what guarantee do the taxpayers and these other people seeking help have that after this passes, they're going to get the help they need?
Well, there are many people in this country that need help. But the biggest help we can give the American people is to stabilize our financial system right now and to prevent the system from clogging up. Because if it does clog up, this is going to have an adverse effect on people's abilities to get jobs, on their budgets, on their retirement savings, on lending for small businesses. And so that's where the first priority has got to be. Once we get the system stabilized, there's a lot of other things to be done.
Conservatives are saying this smacks of socialism.
I would say this is big government intervention. I think this is an unprecedented time. We have a system, a regulatory system that was broken. There are excesses in the system, and I have never, as a philosophy, thought intervention was good. I would just tell you it's necessary right now.
Let me just end where I began. You have extraordinary responsibility right now managing mortgage companies insurance companies, now these assets. Can one person handle this, and is it right for one government official to have this much authority?
Well, let me say, in terms of the mortgage companies and the GSEs, they've got strong management, and we have a conservator there. And in terms of in terms of AIG, that was the Fed and the Fed's powers, and we worked with the Fed, and the Fed brought in, with our help, a very able CEO there to manage that. And in terms of this program, it's a big job, and I've been trained all my life when there's a big problem to run toward it rather than to run away from it. And all I'm doing, George, is the very best I know how. I'm one man doing the best I know how for the American people, and I hope it's good enough, and I sure expect it to be good enough before we're done.
Thanks very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.